Believe it or not, spring is less than a month away, and that means snow will soon be melting.
Yeah, can your sump pump handle all the pressure, though? I talked to the folks at Waters Plumbing for some easy tips. It's this week's Honey-Do. Well, sometime all of the snow that's outside is going to melt, and that can have an effect on homeowners in terms of flooding. You don't want to have your basement covered with water, and that's the reason why we're talking in this week's Honey-Do with Cal Waters, talking about sump pumps. Cal, what is a sump pump and what does it do?
Well, a sump pump is a pump that takes the water from the basement, puts it out in the yard, basically.
Anything that a homeowner needs to do, obviously when the snow melts, these are going to get a lot of use. Is there any maintenance that sump pumps really need?
That's a big problem, and yeah, they should be maintained once a year. You should check them out, check the floats, make sure the floats are working. Make sure, a big thing right now is pipes freezing on the outside. So where the discharge pipe is on the outside of the building, that can freeze up. And if that freezes up, the pump can't pump the water out.
Water has nowhere to go.
Has nowhere to go, so it basically fills the pump up and runs out on your basement, or burns the pump out, which is a bigger problem.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that that pipe on the outside is always clear to the water's discharging.
Very important. I notice a lot of these are electrical. Basically, they plug in, and that's what gives the power to the pump. But what happens in springtime when we have a big thunderstorm come through, knocks out all the power? Is the sump pump going to work?
The sump pump won't work, obviously, if the power is not there and you don't have electric backup. So that's when we have something called the battery backup sump pump.
Okay.
That also has an alarm system on. That alarm system can tell you if the battery is running low, if there's something wrong with one pump or the other. There's different price ranges. Some of them have alarms. Some of them don't have alarms.
All right, that's the big question, is obviously a backup sump pump. It's something I don't even have, but I should really use because there's been plenty of times when I've lost power. How much is something like this going to cost us?
A system like this can run anywhere from $400 to $1,200, basically.
And you might say that's expensive, but how much does repairing a full flooded basement cost?
Exactly. If your basement's finished, if you have finished rooms down the basement, you need to check with your insurance company, first of all, to make sure whether it's covered by insurance or not. And more than likely it's not, so you got to make sure that. And this is an insurance policy in itself.
That it is. So you might want to get down to your basement, make sure everything's hooked up and running, and of course call a plumber if you need help with it. That's this week Honey-Do.